Both of us are English teachers, and in this case, people have been talking about it that AI might replace educators, right?
Yeah.
So, are you worried about it?
I'm worried about AI overall and the impact it's going to have on learning. Because the problem that I see with my students, for instance, is they think that AI is the solution to everything. So, for instance, if they have some homework, they can get AI to help them to see the answers, to write something, well written in English. But the problem is in learning, that first phase of difficulty where you're trying to figure out the answer and, going through the process of that is where real learning occurs. So the problem is they might get very good at knowing how to use AI to get a nicely written email or a good answer to a question. But I'm worried that, AI is affecting how my students learn and how they retain information. I wouldn't say I'm as worried as a teacher about my job being replaced by an AI, because I don't see an AI standing in front of, a classroom and having that interaction that you need. But yeah, like I said, I'm worried about how it's going to affect students' learning and how the way that they interpret things and reproduce the language as well.
So are you worried about that, overly depending on AI will make people lose their ability of thinking?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Actually, I find myself that the way that I use AI is to help me to generate ideas, not to create what I'm making, but let's say I have a new idea for a project. Let's say I'm like, okay, I want to create a class about the present perfect. And I want to be creative and know what kind of games can I use? And I'll say to AI, can you give me 10 games that I could use? And I won't use one of them. They will inspire me to think of something myself. But what I'm noticing now is if I don't have access to AI, being able to generate ideas in my own mind is becoming very challenging for me. To create, literally generate these ideas without any prompt or without any support. And the same goes for writing emails. So if it's something a bit more complicated, all of us have, even on Gmail, you can do, / and then type things in. But when you're actually having to structure emails and make sure you come across with the right tone, that's becoming more challenging the more we're using AI. So I am worried about how it's also affecting the way that we interact with the world, and we're losing these skills, basically.
Okay, so basically, AI does have the ability to replace many things that we are doing, right?
Yeah.
So what if AI can do 80% of our job? Do you think people's existence will lose meaning? Will our existence will be meaningless?
I am concerned mainly not about AI replacing things. I'm concerned about, in terms of psychology, how people are already lonely, and we're having a loneliness epidemic. And
Right.
A lot of people are leaning on AI as a companion in that. But in terms of psychology specifically, you have so many studies that prove that real human interaction is what's going to combat loneliness in different ways. So I'm worried that we're having a shift towards relying on AI models to combat loneliness, and I think that that's a dangerous direction that we're going in. So you see school kids all the time. They have problems interpersonal or whatever it may be, and then they just open ChatGPT and they say, hey, my friend said this and I'm sad because I think she doesn't like me anymore, what do you think? And the AI will just affirm whatever they're saying. They will just confirm. So yeah, that's my concern, how it's affecting actual connection that we're having with people and the world around us in that way.
Oh yeah, it is true. I think it is happening also in Taiwan. Like young people really like they hang out less and less and less these days.
Because also the way that AI models are built is to just basically affirm what you're saying. You need, your friends, let's say you come to, your best friend and your friend gives you the truth. You say, oh, I don't know, does he like me? I'm worried. I feel like I've upset. And they'll say, no, I think you should apologize, or I think you were wrong, or I think you should, and it makes you reflect. What AI would say is, no, I completely understand that. That's a very valid point that you're making. I think you've absolutely done the right thing. So it's just affirming whatever you're saying, which is we're losing the ability to critically analyze what we're doing and the interactions that we're having.